Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be learning about the new adaptation of The Odd Couple coming to Troy University Theater, and my guest today, director of The Odd Couple, Quinton Cockrell. Thanks for joining me today, Quinton.
Thanks for having me again.
The theater department always has something new and interesting going on. This time is something that a lot of people are familiar with. The Odd Couple, something that a lot of people have seen a lot of different versions of it, and we're going to see a new version of that coming to the Troy University campus. Tell us a little about what you've got going on.
Well, The Odd Couple by Neil Simon was a play written for Broadway in the 60s, and it's, as you said, it's very popular. People know about it. It started on Broadway with Walter Matthau and Art Carney, and then was made into a famous film, and then a television show, a couple of different versions of the television show, and then there was a female version, and it keeps getting revived and revived. But I've just loved the play ever since I was a kid. It was one of those plays that really got me interested in theater and acting. And I don't know, my normal theater is pretty depressing. So this year I really wanted to take a look at some traditional American comedy, and the students also can benefit from, learning comic timing, and so we're very excited about it.
And I was going to say, a lot of times you haven't seen a lot of the productions on campus necessarily focus on strictly comedy. You may have some of the shows that have been done that have comedic elements, but this is something, especially a Neil Simon comedy, known for the timing, the elements, and stuff like that. So it may be some new ground for some of your actors to focus on.
Most certainly. Comedy has changed over the years. I have to explain a lot of the jokes that are in The Odd Couple, but I noticed it when we were in a directing class last year, and so I really was determined to get our students that basis in traditional comic delivery.
And of course, let's talk about the play itself. Most people, I've said, are familiar with it. Maybe some of the younger generation isn't, but you're talking about a play about two characters that have they become archetypes for
Exactly.
Just storytelling, it's Oscar and Felix. Tell us a little about the play itself for folks who are uninitiated.
The play takes place in New York City, and there is a group of friends. They get together every Friday night and they play poker. It's an apartment on the Upper West Side of New York, and there's this smoky poker game going on in a trashed apartment, and that's Oscar's house. Their friend, Felix, who also plays poker with him, learns that his marriage is breaking up on this particular Friday night. And by the end of that poker game, at the end of that evening, Oscar, who is characterized as a slob, and Felix, the neat freak, decide to try to share expenses because they have to pay alimony. They decide to live together, and the play is how that works out. It's not just about neat freak and the slob. It's about friendship and acceptance of others,
and being able to finally coming together despite the differences between the two of them.
Exactly. And sometimes things don't work out, and you have to move on.
Now, were your students familiar with the play? Were some of that know about this, and at least some of the variations of it that's come out over the years?
Well, they didn't know about the variations of it. I will say I've used some scenes from the play in class over the last few years, so a lot of them knew about the play, and of course they've heard of Neil Simon. But the various versions of the television show, they had no idea about. The female version, when some of them read that, sort of shocked them. It's really very interesting. This is a play that just keeps on paying off.
It keeps going, and it keeps evolving. There's even one I know that's coming out this year that's a new update. So maybe folks will see this play, and then when that comes on television, they'll be like, I saw it at Troy University first. So.
And I hope they enjoy our live production more than that one.
And now let's talk a little about if folks want to see the show, when, where, and how can they do that? So.
January 21st through 24th in the Trojan Center Theater at 7:30 p.m. There is a matinee on Sunday the 25th if people don't want to drive at night. And then there's a second weekend, Wednesday the 28th through Friday the 30th.
Okay.
At 7:30.
All right, and then tickets?
Tickets can be obtained at troytheater.org
Okay.
or on campus at the box office.
At the box office. So, well, here's hoping that some folks take advantage of this opportunity to see a famous play put on by the Thespians of Troy University.
We're very proud of it.
All right, well, thanks for joining me today, and break a leg.
Thanks, always a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.